Welcome one and all to the Minish cast. This is episode 11, and I'm your host Petter, aka Pendio. In the Dubious Discussion today, we're talking about Attack on Titan, and with me I've got Bok.
Hello, gentlemen.
And we've got Doc. We can also call him Ben.
Yellow.
We're talking about Attack on Titan, and just to make some things very clear before we get into this, it's gonna start off spoiler free. There's a little bit we're gonna talk about without having to spoil anything, and then we're gonna get into the story of the show, and we're gonna step by step kind of make it through the story, and we're gonna give you guys spoiler warnings for each arc, like before we move on to the next part of the story. So if you're not completely caught up in the story of like overall on the anime or the manga, we're also gonna get into the manga. Don't worry, because we're gonna give you warnings about spoilers. So to kick things off, let's talk a little bit about how we all got into the series. I'm gonna start by asking you, Doc. How did you first discover Attack on Titan and become a fan of it?
For me, well, I didn't start getting to like watching anime until like a few years ago. And I was like, got into it, and I said, I watch all the popular ones, and everyone was talking about Attack on Titan. Like, there was memes everywhere. And honestly, it was a lot. There was like this weird game, like a fan-made game. That was a huge blast to play. And I remember I was like, this seems like it's pretty cool. It spoiled a few things for me, but it was still... so I felt like, gotta watch it.
Yeah, so you started kind of with that game, and then made your way into the game anime.
It was like just saw memes all the time, and then there was this game.
Yeah, it really definitely came to a point, especially with the anime, where if you were into anime, you couldn't avoid hearing about Attack on Titan. Eventually, like
as someone who wasn't that much into anime, it was everywhere.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So how about you, Bok?
This was my first anime that I ever watched, actually, besides the stuff back in the old days like Pokemon and whatnot.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, even I couldn't avoid the wave. I remember people I worked with kept telling me I should go and watch it. So my friend said he was going to be trying it one time, and I had nothing better to do, so I tried it with him and watched the first season and been reading the manga since then.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I don't know if I was late or early. I guess I was sort of late, I guess, to the bandwagon. I first watched it in early 2015, if I remember correctly, because I didn't really get into anime like as a whole until like 2014, like sometime around there. So eventually, in early 2015, I first watched the anime, and I definitely I remember so clearly still, after I watched the first episode of it, I wanted to watch more right away, but I couldn't. Like, it was like after having seen everything that goes down in the first episode of the anime, not gonna spoil anything yet, but I had to like sit down for a while with my head in my hands, like, and just breathe. Like, I don't know. I had to like process everything.
It was definitely impactful.
For a while before. Yeah, definitely. Especially the first time I fought. So I had to like take a couple minutes before I could move on to the second episode. Yeah, I've been definitely been a fan since I watched the first season. And however, I didn't start reading the manga until after I'd seen the second season, actually.
Oh, really? That wasn't too long ago. I guess that was a year ago now, actually.
Yeah, last year I basically started reading and caught up in the manga. So like during last year. But I've also read all of the spin-off mangas as well, like the Before the Fall. I
still haven't got around to that.
And and No Regrets and Lost Girls. I've got all of it in my bookshelf. I counted them actually. Like every Attack on Titan manga book I have, like the spin-offs included, makes it 41 manga books for Attack on Titan in my bookshelf. But so yeah, that's basically I guess how we got into the franchise and how we became fans of it. So. And now on to what is probably going to be most of this segment today. We're going to talk about the story of the show. I mean, like, everything that goes down in the manga and in the anime. So, and with that, we're going to start talking about what is covered in the story during the first season of the anime. Or I guess, I'm not that into, like, I feel like there's, like, fans talk about arcs. It's divided into arcs, which I guess it is. So I guess I've got the Attack on Titan wiki thing right here. And according to this, the first arc is the 104th Training Corps arc, which I guess starts where the show starts and lasts until they stop training, without spoiling anything further than that.
Oh, come on.
So let's talk a little bit about the characters that we meet during the very first arc of the story. We got Eren and Mikasa and Armin, I guess, first of all.
Yes.
Do you have any general like thoughts on those characters at this early stage of the story?
Is like the very beginning with them?
Yeah, like I guess we'll start at the beginning, when they're kids, I guess, and maybe a little bit, how they get into the training corps and stuff like that.
Because like, I know Mikasa's a very popular character. Everyone loves her, but like, I gotta say, I'm not. At the beginning, I was really excited for Mikasa. I thought she was cool. I thought there was a lot of potential there. I sort of lost interest in her as the show went on.
Right. I'm sort of in a similar boat, though. I mean, I still like her a lot, but it took me up until very recently, actually, until I started not liking her as much. But yeah, she's definitely, like, she's a badass. Like, there's no, like, denying that.
Like the first.
So I understand why a lot of people like
her. When they're kids,
yeah.
And like she's running at like the bullies, I'm like, oh, this girl seems really cool, and like it seemed like a good setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems very, outside of her badassness, she seems very one-dimensional, and if you've seen the show, there's only one thing she really cares about.
Yeah.
Yeah, she cares about Eren, like, to a pretty, like, extreme level. But, I feel like she has reason to. She basically, well, I guess we can't really talk too much about the characters now, but we'll move on quickly through the story here. Moving on to, I guess that just moving on through the story a little bit, especially this early on, opens up for more easy discussion without having to spoil anything. So we're moving on to the Battle of Trost District arc. So yeah, and I mean I'm assuming most of the people listening have probably at least seen the first season of the anime. So at this point, there's not a whole lot of, like, we can't really, we don't risk spoiling too much, at least out of that part of the story. But we've gotten to know, like, at this point in the story, we've gotten to see quite a few different, like, new characters as far as, like, everyone, like, that they're training with. Like Sean and Connie and Sasha and Krista and Ymir. Well, Ymir doesn't have a name yet, or
Does she have a name yet?
I don't think. I don't think it's until
2.
the season 2. Yeah, she's just, like, I think in the credits for season 1, she's known as Freckles, I think.
Freckles.
So whatever. It's not that much of a spoiler. I mean, it's her name. But yeah, we get a lot of new characters in the training corps, and to me, at least the first time I watched it, I felt like there were too many characters. I didn't have time to, I guess, connect with all of them. But this is a show that I've rewatched many times, like the anime I've rewatched many times, and I guess that's helped a lot for me, at least, with how I've gotten to know the characters better. And and also as the story goes on, you obviously get to see these characters develop. And I don't have a problem anymore with the fact that there's such a big cast of characters. What are some of your opinions on that? I guess all the characters that are introduced fairly early in the story.
I like Potato Girl.
Yeah, Sasha is great.
Everyone loves Sasha.
And it's also it's like Attack on Titan isn't a comedy. It's definitely not. It's like a fairly dark show,
certainly
like
not.
overall. But with Sasha and with Connie, you know, those characters really brighten it up with their comedy that they bring to the story, and
Yeah.
I think that's necessary in a show that's as serious as Attack on Titan is.
Yeah. There's not really any fan service or any other, so it needs kind of those lighter
Yes.
moments to,
Right.
which I think is one of the things I like about the show. The tone's very consistent throughout the whole thing.
It's just like a compelling story.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's also something I appreciate a lot, is that there's barely any fan service. You were saying, Doc, something?
I was just saying, like, yeah, I was agreeing about the whole fan service, and
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it's not like, oh, here's like a lot of anime. It's like, oh, look at the females, and a lot of features are accentuated, or I guess like it's a fairly equal show when it comes to gender, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And also, like, the military uniforms are identical, like, for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's also something, you know. And I think it makes sense, you know. There's no reason for the uniforms to
Yeah, it
look
would make
different
sense
for the
otherwise.
different genders. Yeah, yeah.
I was hoping the girls would have mini skirts, but
They all kind of have skirts, sort of.
yeah, I guess
Kind
so.
of looks like it. But yeah, it sort of looks like skirts. And this is something I feel like, to me, this part, like the Battle of Trost Districts, when I watched the anime the first time, this was where I got really, like, I guess, pumped for the first time. I'd gotten, like, very, I guess, emotionally moved, I guess, before, like, earlier in the story, but it wasn't until, like, this, like, the Battle of Trost, that I got, like, it just got so intense, and you just, like, you get your adrenaline pumping, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah. It's, like, so awesome. And seeing them, like, fly around, like, with the ODM gear, like, in the city is just so cool. And the animations are spectacular.
The training arc sort of introduced all of the characters, I think, even like the cannon fodder ones. The same as like the ones who clearly stuck around. So I think like seeing like those people die, you didn't realize like they aren't important. And you really
Yeah.
felt like there was no like plot armor for anyone.
Exactly. It's like,
I
yeah,
thought
because
was
we
really-
see, during this arc, we witness Eren die. At least, you know, from our
Yeah.
perspective. Like, we're made to think he dies. And you know, that's a big thing. That's a huge thing, right?
I was so pumped when he died.
Yeah. I was like surprised.
I've heard a
just-
lot of
I thought
people...
he was actually dead for a hot second.
Well, yeah, I thought he should have. I mean,
Before I
obviously now
remember,
that
he knew.
the story's gone where it has, it wouldn't make sense if he stayed dead. But I think that would have been like a really bold move to kill the main character like so
absolutely.
quickly.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like him.
Yeah, I
He
feel
was screamy and really edgy. Sorry if I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, no. Like, a lot of people had those issues with Eren. I never disliked him personally. But yeah, I don't know. He's definitely grown. Like, I didn't like, at the beginning of the show, like the first season or so, I wasn't a huge fan of the character, but I never disliked him. I always thought, you know, his actions made sense, and, you know, I felt for him, you know. But there were always other characters that I liked more than him. and there still are, but he's grown so much in the most recent parts of the manga, which we'll get to later, but he's grown a lot to me lately, as a character. I definitely know there's a lot of people who have, you know, not really been that fond of his character.
I think he's become more bearable as he's come on, as the show's gone on. Wow.
Yeah, you
Don't
can
put
say that
part
again.
in.
Sorry. So, yeah, and also one thing I need to say, especially about this is mostly like about the anime, is that besides how big a fan I am of the animation, because I think the animation is top notch in the Attack on Titan anime. Yeah, and I'm also a huge fan of the art style, like just the way they've drawn it all. It just looks. I don't think I've ever seen any other anime that looks quite like Attack on Titan, in the style that they've drawn it.
Varying line sizes for like, which I think is really cool. I know some people aren't the biggest fans of it. How the line's like thicker in some parts but then thinner in others, but I think it adds like movement, I guess, to the characters.
Yeah. So obviously the Trust District arc had some pretty big reveals, with Eren being a Titan. That being
is.
the main thing. He is.
Spoilers.
And but I don't know, like I don't remember my initial reaction. I wish I did remember my initial reaction to like that whole reveal. But I can't seem to remember it right now. Do you guys remember how you reacted to that?
I was already like, I just spoiled that he was going to become back as a Titan, or I knew that he was a Titan. So I'm like, oh, he's got to come back. Like when he first died, I was like, that doesn't make sense because that whole Titan part hasn't happened.
Oh, so you knew. I see.
Yeah, because I'm like, where's the whole him being a Titan?
So how about you, Bok?
I didn't know, but when the Berserk Titan, or the Attack Titan as we now know it,
Yeah.
when you see him save Mikasa and start attacking the other ones, I had pretty strong suspicions that it was actually Eren, and I was kind of disappointed when he comes out of the Titan in the end, because I was kind of hoping he'd stay dead, but
Oh, he'd like stay a Titan forever.
yeah, or just Eden, and that it wasn't him for some reason.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was watching it with a friend once. Like, when I rewatched it, like the second or third time, I watched it with a friend, and it was his first time watching it, so he didn't know anything. And when we were at that part, when Eren's Titan form appears and saves Mikasa, and he goes, and goes on and fighting all the other Titans in the city. I remember he made a comment about how because he's the kind of guy who like always like gives, I guess, his theories, like while he's watching something. He always shares like what he's thinking, what's going through his head, like. And he said something about how he like for a while, like he thought he didn't think it was Eren, but he thought like it was somehow, I don't know exactly how he put it, but something about how he thought it was somehow possessed Eren's will or something. I don't know exactly, and that was his like idea for what Titans were. Like they were humans, but not quite human in some way. And now we're not gonna. I guess we shouldn't talk too much about what Titans are. So
of course,
far,
yeah, stay away from there for now.
Yeah, like we don't want to accidentally say something there, but yeah, that was an interesting theory of his, I thought.
I watched it with a friend as well.
It's not correct. Was that?
I was watching with a friend as well. Like, I rewatched it with a friend who didn't know what was happening.
I see.
And so she honestly she did not think it was Eren at all for the longest time. Mostly because I was really lying to her and being like, oh, yep, Eren died. That's it. The whole rest of the show is about how everyone deals with it. Like, you didn't see that one coming.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think it was like in the episode right before it's revealed it's Eren is when she like started figuring it out. Because I mean, to be honest, it's fairly obvious, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the same eye color and same hair color, and it's,
And it shows up right after his death.
Yeah, he died, and then suddenly appears his smart Titan. It's like, yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people probably draw the conclusion that it's somehow Eren. Probably. But of course, at that point in time, we don't know anything about like how people transform into Titans, and so it's still somewhat of a mystery for most, I think, even though a lot of people probably suspect that it's somehow Eren.
Related to it, yeah.
Yeah. And then we move on to, well, I guess part of this arc is also the whole court thing. Oh. Eren is imprisoned, and then he's brought to court, and they're gonna decide what they're gonna do with him. And I feel like, and I think, at least as far as I can remember, this was probably not the first we saw of. Well, I know it wasn't. It wasn't the first we saw of Levi and Erwin, but it was the first part where especially Levi got to really shine, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So that was quite the scene, I thought. And man, like, it's so brutal, but I mean, if Levi hadn't done what he did, Eren would have probably not made it much further into the story than that.
Yeah, I became a Levi fangirl that day.
Right. Like, I actually, it took me a long time to become a Levi fan. Like, at least like on that level. I never disliked him. I always thought it was cool because he is cool. I mean, no one can say otherwise. But it took me until like, actually probably after season 2 of the anime before I became like a really big fan of the character.
And the Uprising arc.
Yeah, like the Uprising arc.
That's spoilery to say.
Yeah, like the word Uprising arc or whatever. I don't think that's a spoiler enough. But yeah, to me personally, it was always cool though. And Erwin also started growing to me around that time. He wasn't that like special to me like this early on, but you know, he grows and he's a really cool character. And in the English dub for the anime, he's voiced by the best voice actor, J. Michael Tatum.
Amen.
So so yeah, moving on, I guess. Do you have anything else you want to say about like the court scene or anything about that?
Yeah, I wasn't into the court episode. I wasn't into it. It felt like it dragged on in my opinion, but like I know it was necessary for the show.
Right. Yeah, and I mean it also introduced a lot of the Survey Corps members. I forget what's the name of that guy who's got a good sense of smell? Mike?
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll
Whatever.
just call him Mike.
Right.
Oh, wait,
The guy who
has, like,
sniffs Aaron.
A little bit of facial hair or something.
Yeah.
I think it was like Mikhail or something.
Oh yeah, it's something on M. Something like that. Yeah, whatever. He's introduced in that part, I think.
Is he the one who bites his tongue?
No, that's not him.
No, that's
The one who bites his
Okay.
tongue. I don't think he's introduced until the next arc, which I guess we'll move on to right away. It's called.
That just spoil everything.
Oh, you spoil everything. We might as well end this segment right now.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next arc. The next arc is called the Female Titan arc, and in this arc they encountered a female Titan,
Yeah.
as made evident by the name of the arc.
Really?
Yes, believe it or not. And this is also the arc where our main group joins the Survey Corps and everything gets super awesome. And I personally prefer the Survey Corps, like the green capes, over like the regular soldier uniform. Like the green capes, I think really they look so good. Their mission, well, what the first mission, like when they're going outside of the walls, it's not actually to go to Shiganshina, but it's to kind of scout a route there, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like the actual mission was to lure out the female Titan, or to lure out a Titan. It's like that.
Was it really?
Yeah. Because
did
the
they
whole
know?
point was because remember Erwin, it was like after those Titans were killed. Not Connie, something in Bean.
Sunny and Bean, yeah.
They were
that's
killed,
right.
and he went around asking like, "Who's the real enemy here?"
Yeah.
Because he was seeing who could be trusted with the information about they thinks that there's a Titan, or they thinks that there's an enemy within their ranks.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Exactly. Then and that was the like hidden objective, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Because they had the trap set up in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They were totally prepared for it. Like, not the new recruits, but the higher ups were definitely prepared.
Yeah.
Like Erwin and Levi and Hanji probably as well.
I don't think Levi was filled in on it, or maybe he was, but the rest of Team Levi wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know actually if all of Team Levi was in on it.
No, they weren't.
Team Levi definitely wasn't, because they had that whole speech
No.
about trusting Levi more than anything
Exactly.
else.
Yeah, how they choose to trust Levi pretty much blindly, which I guess can be both a good and a bad thing. They died.
What a happy ending.
I mean that was so like I was like both annoyed and sad at the same time when I saw that scene when Annie.
I was surprised. I thought they were all really big characters.
No, wait. I'm gonna cut out that thing I just said. The name I just said.
What, that Annie's the female Titan?
Yeah, we're not supposed to know that. I'm
Okay,
gonna cut that
yeah,
out.
I'm just fucking with you.
Like,
Okay,
because we're
so-
talking about not quite that part yet. But it's alright. It's
not
alright.
quite
Well,
there.
it's easy to cut out. So the Titan that appears, actually, whatever, screw it. It's Annie.
That female Titan.
It's it's like so close together anyway.
I mean, it even looks like her.
Exactly. She looks totally like her.
It was either her or Armin, so
Or Krista,
yeah, I guess.
potentially. But like, thing is, I figured, I remember it clearly. I figured it out in the first episode where the female Titan appeared. I figured out it was Annie. I was like, yeah, that's definitely totally Annie, because both Armin and Krista were with them, like were on the expedition. Yeah, they were right there. So I figured it had to be Annie, and like you can also tell like the nose and kind of like those kinds of like other features.
My
you know?
friend thought it was Armin's mom for the longest time. I'm like, why would it be Armin's mom? Because it's blonde. It's like-
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. In
okay.
hindsight, yeah. It was
Half the
probably
characters have
Armin's
that hairstyle though.
the bowl cut.
Yeah. But I also remember thinking, like, even though I was like felt pretty sure it was Annie, I kind of hoped it wasn't, because I didn't wanna. I wanted to be surprised, you know. I didn't want to be right about my suspicion. Of course, I was right, but so and to me that's, and like, I don't know. It made me feel like the show was a very predictable show, which I was totally proven wrong about later, like further down the line. But like, to me, this is the only predictable thing that's been part of the show, really.
Yeah, it's very predictable, and I can't really talk much on like how much I predicted it, because again, that was another thing that was spoiled for me. Going into
you
it.
knew about that too. I see.
I knew all about, or
Right.
at least I knew of the spoil, like who was Titans in season 1. That was it though.
Right. So you knew about Aaron and Annie.
Yeah, because in that game you could fight against Annie and
Oh yeah,
So-
right, from the game.
so-
Right.
yeah. So it was like
Yeah.
I was like, I did this to myself.
Yeah. Though at least you weren't spoiled on more than season 1, so that's always something.
Yeah.
So
Where are we now? Sorry.
we're
I guess.
are we in the forest being chased by the female Titan?
Well, I'm at home sitting in front of my computer, but story-wise, I think yeah.
Yeah.
Like the like everything that goes down in the forest, I think, like there's a lot there. Like first they're chased there for a pretty long time. There's like a bunch of flashbacks and soldiers are dying, and eventually they reach the point where with the trap, and they manage to freeze Annie.
Yeah, they trapped her with the harpoons.
Yeah. And like at that point, I was like I was super surprised. I wasn't expecting them to manage to do that. First time I saw it.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I really started. Besides his badass and sexy legs, that was the first time I really started liking Levi, when he did his no regrets speech to Aaron. I think that was when he was really like, he was more than just that overpowered. He was kind of like that
Right.
father mentor figure to him. I don't know.
He was daddy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, the female Titan starts screaming, and that's not good.
No.
And attracts all of the other Titans to eat her, which was awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, and at that point, you're just like, I was just so annoyed. Like, why didn't they, like,
I was like,
do
they did
something
all of this
like-
work.
Yeah, man, like, was it all for nothing? And then, of course, Annie leaves her Titan body and goes on to kill Levi's squad,
R.I.P. Levi Squad.
which was sad. And it's like, Aaron goes all this time trusting the others, and thus remaining in human form. And then after, like, immediately after Levi's squad is killed, that's when he transforms into a Titan. Which I guess is understandable, but it's also kind of a shame, like, if he had done it sooner, he could have probably saved his, like, the Levi squad.
Levi's squad probably wouldn't have died. But, like, I don't think it would have worked if he would have transformed sooner.
And Levi did give him that choice when he said, do what you want. Just make sure you don't have any regrets.
Exactly, yeah. And man, that's so good. Like, I really like that part of the story.
That was whole about, like, just trust, but, like, you don't have to. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's like, it's up to you. It's your call.
Your call. That was probably Levi's best moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of them anyway, definitely.
Or at least from the anime.
Man, yeah. I can't believe I wasn't that big a fan of him at this point, like, my first time through. Because it wasn't until later, much later, that he really grew on me. But this is definitely really, really good.
I think his character development's more subtle than a lot of the other ones. I think he's already more built up. It's kind of like, he's not like Eren or Mikasa or Armin, where he's growing into his character. He kind of already is who he is, so...
Exactly, yeah, because he's kind of like the generation older.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's already had, like, I guess, a lot of that growth.
He's been broken already and put back together. And
have you read the No Regrets?
The No Regrets, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a very good origin. I think that's a very good origin for both Levi and for Erwin, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly Levi, obviously, but also for Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to talk a whole lot about that, but, like, for anyone who's interested in Levi's backstory.
And how could you not be?
Right, exactly. That's a very good manga to read. And it's also been adapted into an anime.
I wasn't too thrilled with the anime. It kind of made Erwin seem kind of, like, arrogant.
Yeah, the anime adaptation of No Regrets was kind of... they cut out a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So both they cut out a lot of Erwin's parts, making him less interesting. And they also cut out a lot of the bonding and character... And, like, I guess... Yeah, the bonding, I guess, with Levi and his two friends, Isabel and Fallen.
Yeah, I think so.
I think. So you don't really feel as much for his comrades in the anime adaptation. But yeah, no, whatever. It's still good. But the manga, I thought was better. So recommend that one. And I think if anyone hadn't figured out that the female Titan was Annie at this point, once she starts fighting Eren in the forest, I think the last people would probably catch on to it by that point. Because I feel like they throw it in your face, like.
Was it here when he remembered, like, that move she did? Right?
Exactly, and her stance and, like, all that. There's a lot of little things like that. I think very recognizable.
Mm-hmm. She only has one expression, anyways. Also, so.
Exactly, and she's got that kind of like a bow-shaped nose bone, kind of. If that makes sense.
Sure.
I mean, and the same hair color, hairstyle, everything.
Yeah.
Is the same. One part I enjoyed a lot was when still in the forest, by the way, was when Mikasa and Levi teamed up to bring Eren back after he lost to Annie. I thought that was a lot of fun to watch.
I was thinking, like, don't kill her. About Mikasa. I was like, because Mikasa's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, don't, because I love Annie so much. At least I liked Annie.
Wait, were you that, like, taken by the Annie character at this point in the show?
It was just, she seemed cool. Like, I wanted more of her.
Right. I mean, that's fair.
And I still do.
And I'm like, don't just kill her off.
Yeah, and they didn't. I was certainly hoping they would kill her there, though. I guess I was just in the moment, but yeah, that was very exciting though, because, like, the thing with this show is that anything can happen. Like, anyone can die at any point in time. So, like, and you're never really safe.
Exactly.
You can't feel safe anyway, like, with anyone.
Mm-hmm. It really shows just how more powerful Levi is, just like how much faster and stronger he was than Mikasa at that moment. Because you kind of think she's like the like it's as good as you can get, but then like she realizes like he's much faster, and you know what I mean, guys?
I absolutely,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
see what you mean. Like, you're like, oh, she's a
thank
badass,
God.
and it's like, oh, he's even more badass.
Yeah, and it's not just like strength and speed. It's also the mindset. His mindset is much more mature than hers at that point in the show.
Because his whole plan's the mission, and she's like, Aaron, I love Aaron. It's like, stop,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting part. And then actually something I noticed when cuz I, as a lot of people probably, read the manga after I'd seen the first season, and I reacted to that the scene in the anime when they're on their way back from the forest, like they're riding across fields with a lot of like injured soldiers, and they're being chased by like 2 or 3 titans at one point during that scene. They're basically back towards the wall, going back toward the wall. But that's completely exclusive to the anime. That scene is not in the manga. I realized when I read the manga that was missing from it. And that's like one of the few cases where I've noticed like a significant difference between the two, is that scene was made exclusively for the anime.
I hardly remember it.
Right. Well, yeah, it's not that. I mean, nothing much happens. It's just like some. I guess there's more kind of like moral discussion in that one about like, because basically what they do in that scene is they've got a bunch of dead soldiers on the wagons they're taking back home.
Oh no.
And they're being chased by titans, so they solve that by dumping the dead bodies, and so they can outrun the titans. And a lot of people have issue with that.
Yeah, because that's not in the anime, right?
No, it is in the anime, but it's not in the manga, strange enough.
Oh, it's not in the manga. Okay, yeah. But I remember seeing that where they had to dump the bodies.
Exactly, yeah. Then that's only in the anime. At least, I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm like, I remember I noticed that when I read the manga that it wasn't there. That scene wasn't there. So that was probably made for the anime then. But I think that's the only scene that's been exclusive for the anime.
I'm pretty sure that the writer has like, whoever the writer is has said like, because she works with the anime, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and has said she does things differently in the anime that she wished she would have done in the manga. I could be
Wait.
completely off, but I'm pretty sure like
Wait, is Hajime Isayama a girl?
I thought he was a guy.
I thought it was a guy too.
is it a guy? Oh, did I say okay? A guy. My bad. I don't.
That's alright.
Okay.
It's alright.
I'm
I just
very
wanted to
well
make
read
sure
on
I
this.
hadn't like misunderstood. Sorry.
Yeah, the guy. That he works with it and like does things differently that he wish he would have done.
Yeah. That's very
I
possible.
could-
Like, yeah, he wanted to
That
add
could be
that
way
scene.
off on that.
No, I mean I think it's makes sense. Of course, I don't know, but I know that he, or at least I'm pretty sure that with the spin-offs that exist, he hasn't written or illustrated any of the spin-off books, but he's surely had a hand in it.
Does that include the No Regrets, or
I would assume so. I mean,
it's kind of
if I was the creator of a, I know he didn't write it or illustrate it, but he has to have had some hand in it. I mean, maybe the
Like,
writer
just sign
of
off
it
on it.
exactly, or maybe the writer of it got to like, I don't know, take part of some notes that he had made for something at some point, and based it off of that or something. That's always possible. Because I mean, we knew that Levi was from the underground, for example, and that's it deals with that for example, and we know that Erwin created this formation that they use in the anime, and it also it deals with the origin of that
and why.
So yeah, it all it all adds up.
Yeah.
And now we're back within the walls again.
Thank God.
And the characters, I guess they're dealing with, like, some don't want to believe that Annie is the female Titan, even though to the viewers at this point, like, everybody knows it's her. But a lot of the characters are a little bit in denial, I feel, at this point.
Particularly Aaron.
Definitely, yeah, especially Aaron.
Because I think Aaron's all about like the team or something. at that point. He's like, we know her. There's no way.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't want to believe that. And but then of course it is actually her, and oh
Yeah.
man, that's also one of
Her
the
scene,
points that
the
involving
best
like
scenes, right?
you think they've captured Annie, but then she breaks loose anyway. It's like the same with the harpoon kind of things in the forest when they like make her they try to lure her down into the underground. And like all these people come and like grab her, but she has the ring on, so she can transform into a Titan anyway.
The ring she just flicks open.
Like
That
she always has some trick up her sleeve.
That's such a cool scene.
She wasn't wearing the ring at first. It shows when Armin convinces her that she puts it on. So I guess she didn't really trust them to begin with.
She knew he was lying.
Yeah.
God, that
I
was
think
such
she
a
had a
great
soft
scene.
spot for Armin.
I mean, probably. Man, I think Annie is softer overall than she likes to come off as. Now, obviously, we're not going to go into her backstory yet.
Yeah, I think you can't talk to you about that without revealing stuff.
Exactly, but like still, I don't think she's as hard or whatever as she seems in this first season of the anime. But
I mean,
yeah,
like, the anime even has a moment where it shows like, where it like hints at like her motives, like at the very end. But I guess I don't spoil that. Although it's fairly close to it, I guess.
yeah,
Like after the fight,
he added something in the anime, like something about her father.
is that moment not in the manga where he's like screaming at her to keep going, even if people tell her to stand down, that she needs to keep fighting.
Did not have that in the book.
I don't think they had. They might have.
But
They might have. I'm not actually that sure.
So I feel like they definitely mentioned him.
They may have, absolutely.
It's been too long.
yeah, it has. Or well, I read it last year, but I've read a lot of I read a lot of the books like very quickly after after the other, so still, it's kind of hard to remember every detail. But
It sucks when you catch up.
exactly, yeah, man. Like, cause for a while there, I had so much in front of me, so like I never had to wait for anything. Just read and read and read, and then I came to like volume 23, and then I had to wait for a couple of months for volume 24, and that's the most recent one that's at this point. But yeah, then there were additional chapters online I could read because that one's further on than the physical books are. But anyway, Eren fights Annie again in the city in Stoas district. A lot of people die, and
like massacre people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
pretty...
was like that was dark.
Yeah, and Annie like is shoved into the church and breaks that whole thing with a lot of people inside. Like, gee. But Eren eventually beats her, which is cool. Of course.
No, beating women isn't cool, man. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Man, I shouldn't have said that. Man, I just made a fool out of myself. I won't. All right, I guess we'll see. Yeah, and it's like one thing that definitely surprised me was when she started like trying to escape. She wasn't fighting Eren anymore. She started to try to get out of there. She started climbing up the wall. That was surprising to me because I thought she would, try to defeat Eren and beat him. But instead she retreats.
Well, the thing is, at that point she was losing, and then Mikasa was also kicking her ass.
Right, exactly.
God, that was.
And in the end,
scene.
Mikasa cuts off her fingers, so she falls from the wall and
She can't
gets
escape
eaten to a pulp.
It's just that moment where she like falls with her, like steps on her head and jumps off mid-air. You're like, that's a cool scene.
And then of course she encases herself in this hardened crystal thing,
Which was so frustrating
And,
to me.
It's been there ever since.
I was just saying, it's really it's so frustrating. Because it's like they did all that work again, and then they still don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But at least they've got her like in a safe place right now. They got her underground with guards guarding her constantly.
I think even like the story addresses that, where like everyone's like, "What was the point? Everyone died,
Yeah,
and you have nothing to show for it." And I'm like, "Yeah,
exactly.
you're kind of right. They have nothing to show." Aaron gives like a big speech.
And this is also like ever so slightly different between the anime and the manga, because I remember in the manga, like when Annie climbs the wall and then she falls down, and then a piece of the wall falls down, and you see the face of a titan inside it.
Oh
Happens
yeah,
during like basically during the fight, or at least like toward the end of the fight, kind of. And in the anime, it happens like after the end credits, after everything's like done, kind of.
yeah.
You see that as a little teaser, kind of. And honestly, like when I first watched the anime, and I saw that like part of the wall fall off, and you saw like a titan face inside. I didn't think that was actually like a story thing. I thought that was just like a silly little end credits bit that didn't mean anything. That's what that was my initial reaction to it. Turns out it's actually very related to the story, and yeah, it plays a big part. All right, so
How far forward can we go with spoilers now? Oh, sorry.
well, now I was just gonna say, so that's the first season, and
Okay.
basically the first season of the anime, and I guess we'll move right on to the second season of the anime, and I guess we can talk about all of the second season. You know, we don't have to put any lines anywhere within the second season. We'll just talk about the second season for now. So spoilers, if you have not seen the second season or read beyond volume 8, I think.
I think it's chapter 34-ish.
Possibly. Then don't listen to this. Or, I mean, maybe you don't care. In which case, by all means, listen to this. So, yeah, the second season of the anime. Early on, something I felt was pretty fresh about it was that it didn't feature Eren that much. Because until this point,
Exactly.
he's been very much in focus.
I was just going to say that because I think that season 2 is stronger of the two because it's less about Aaron. And it's more about the
much
side
less
characters.
about Eren, yeah. Yeah, especially like Connie, Sasha, Reiner.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Reiner. Oh, man, sorry. I want to talk more about Reiner, but I can't. Sort of, but
We'll get there.
okay. So, well, we learned that Eren and Bertolt are the armored and colossal titan, respectively, which was a huge, like, man.
Yeah.
I learned this through the anime because it wasn't, as I said earlier, it wasn't until after season 2 of the anime that I started reading the manga.
That scene was so beautiful. Like, I still rewatch that scene.
And like the way they do it, it's like it's so
perfect.
like it's not even
The music's amazing.
There's no build up.
It's like they're having two conversations at the same time, and as just like a small note in one of the conversations, Reiner mentions
like,
that he and Bertolt are.
Hey, by the way.
Yeah, it's like it's so like as if though it's not a big thing, but and it's like, what, did I just hear that right?
Exactly.
Man, wow, yeah. That was a big reveal to me. I had not suspected that, like that those two characters were those two titans. What were your thoughts on that?
That was a huge surprise to me because that was like one of the few things I didn't have spoiled for me. I had a friend who kept talking to me about how it was the how they were in the same like squad, I guess, as Eren, and like we knew the characters, but I still had no idea who it was. And when we got to that scene, I was just like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right.
Right.
It's very surreal, I guess, or unpredicted.
Definitely. How about you, Bok?
That was one of the only things I had spoiled. I watched or I read it first in the manga. It just, like you guys said, it just feels like it just comes out of left field. Because even in the manga, they're having two conversations, just like in small text in the panel. It's like, oh,
exactly.
we're the two titans.
Yeah.
But I feel like the anime draws things out too much. But I feel like that was one of the best, easily one of the scenes that was better in the show than in the book.
Yeah.
It
Like
made
the
more
direction was
sense.
really good. The music.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
think.
It was really, really good. But yeah, because like to me, it like these two titans appeared 5 years ago when Eren was
Yeah.
what, like 10? Yeah, it was 10. And so
Yeah,
to
I think
me,
so.
and I guess I just naturally assumed that all of the like training corps members, like of the 104th training corps, like they were all about the same age, and they are. I mean, they can't be more than like 1 year or so apart from them. I'd assume. So I'd basically ruled out all of those characters as potential like people being those two titans, just because they would have been so young at the time. But then it turns out they actually were. It actually was two of the those people from the training corps, and I'm like, had not counted on that. I thought it would be like more of a like an adult character or something.
Yeah.
Well, especially the Colossal Titan, who's like the face of the franchise. I thought there'd be like a lot more build up before
Yeah.
they showed who he was.
Right. And it's Bertolt, like one of the most like low key kind of characters ever.
The most
He is tall,
timid
though.
character.
He is very tall.
He is. I think he was the tallest in their training corps.
I think so
And, like-
too. So I guess it sort of makes sense, but even though I mean it's not related to that anyway. But yeah, and of course we'll get more into Titans as we go on.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that was a big reveal, for sure.
The big reveal of season 2.
Absolutely, and obviously we also learned that Ymir is a Titan.
Ymir's like my favorite character, so excuse me for like loving her so much. She's just so great. And I was so like that was also I think a part that the show did better was her transformation.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so cool, and you didn't I didn't see it coming.
Oh, I didn't really either.
No. I didn't even know who she was.
I mean, she'd made a name for herself. I think definitely.
A little bit, yeah.
Like
They had more,
you,
like,
you
historic
recognize
art.
her like from like making fun of Sasha and from like hanging out with Krista, you know. But not a whole lot more than that.
Ymir scenes.
She definitely grew though in the second season, and with the reveal that she's a Titan, that was a very big thing.
She was like a background character for most of it, so you didn't really see that coming.
Yeah, and I feel like Ymir is probably one of the most complex characters in the show. Well, like one of them anyway.
I think she has the most intriguing backstory, and like
and like, regarding her
and her
backstory,
philosophy.
like that whole part, like when we see this whole backstory of her in the anime, that doesn't come until way later in the anime or in the manga.
Yeah.
no,
like,
it's
that's
not
way
until fairly
later.
recently, I think.
Yeah, like
that was
it's
only
toward
shown
the
a
end
few
of
months
the
ago.
uprising arc, I think.
No, I think it's shown.
Yeah, well then, I think that chapter had come out like a few months before the show aired even.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it came out during the Marley arc.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
That's,
If anyone understands that.
yeah, don't listen to what we're saying.
Actually, I thought they did it better in the manga. That like having that her backstory be at that point, at that later point.
Well, it's also because they reveal where Titans come from.
Yeah, I thought it was better to have that in as they did it in the manga. Personally, because even the way they did it in the anime, it's still kind of vague. You don't really get it completely. At least I didn't, because I hadn't been reading any of the manga like until after I saw that. So to me, I didn't really get all of that, what that was explained regarding her backstory. I didn't understand where she was from, or like,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't really even get that she was from outside of the walls.
She is.
Yeah, or she is.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. I was a little, I mean, it was kind of confusing to me. And I thought they handled it better in the manga, having that whole backstory be much, much later in the story after we'd learned a bunch of other things. But yeah, whatever. The end game of season 2 is obviously when Eren gets kidnapped and the Servicorps come running after to save him.
I think Irwin was a pretty big badass there.
Which part do you mean specifically?
Irwin, the entire
Oh.
time, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Like when he
Yeah, well,
loses
yeah,
his
he
entire
definitely was.
arm.
Yeah, and he's being like pulled back by a Titan. He's his arm in the mouth and like advance. Man, he's awesome. uh, yeah, yeah, he definitely started growing on me during that whole part, and also later on throughout the manga, he grew on me a lot.
Yeah, what a badass.
Yeah. Wow. I thought he was definitely dead. I thought he was a goner when he was like grabbed by a Titan by the arm there. Like, turns out he didn't. Turns out he made it, and he was able to ride a horse with
one
like
arm.
wielding a sword with an arm.
And use his gear.
Yeah, like wow. Yeah, he's a badass. Is this the first time we see Mikasa kind of like do something not so smooth in this battle?
I think it's season 1, right after Eren dies. When she
yeah,
kind of gets
'cause-
reckless and runs out of gas.
Right,
Yeah,
she runs
when,
out of gas in the first season. Right,
when
that's
Eren has
true,
to
that's
save
true.
her.
Right, that's true. That's true. But yeah, she also kind of messes up in this one. At the end here,
And Levi wasn't there either, just to save them all.
exactly, yeah. And then we have the big ending when the Titan who ate Eren's mother appears, and like I had not expected that at all. I definitely hadn't.
I didn't recognize it at first.
And Hannes tries to avenge Carla, and he fails miserably. Oh, Hannes.
Amen.
I was never invested in his character, to be honest. As heartless as that is.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that deep, but you know, it was still a memorable one, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a change for Eren than kind of. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's all right.
You know what I mean?
I know. I think I know what you mean.
All right, because I don't. So.
Oh, good. And then Eren punches the Titan's hand, which in the moment to me just seemed so odd.
You're like, what are you thinking?
It's like, why? But it worked. Man, that's lucky AF that it worked. And at this point in the show, we have no idea why it worked, but it did.
No.
Like,
And he was able
they've
to-
hinted at it, right?
Sorry, what?
Or I think they hinted at it. I think a few times.
Hinted at
Of like
something? What?
of like about his him doing that whole punching at the Titans.
Had they
'Cause I
hinted
think
at
that
that?
right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think when they're in the trees,
Yeah,
when they're
Reiner
waiting
and
for him to
told
regenerate,
say a few times.
Reiner and Braun talk about it a bit.
Yeah, they mentioned the coordinate, and you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
What's
right.
The coordinate?
Right, they do that. Right. That's true.
They don't know if he is or not yet, but they think he might be.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that basically confirms it for them when he punches the Titan and orders the other Titans to kill it. And as a viewer, we don't really, or as a reader, we don't really understand exactly what they mean by that, like the coordinate, like what's that. But all of that becomes clear eventually, much later. And of course, something that's made clear during this arc also is because of Connie's mother, we kind of realized that Titans are people, or they were people somehow, and that really gave me like the chills, like when I started realizing it.
Realizing they're killing actual people.
Yeah, like, did you guys have any like theories before that like dawned on you, like?
I think during season 1, I said to my friend, like once it was confirmed that he was the Titan, I said, so are all Titans just actually people? Because he came out of the neck, and then they had to slice the neck to kill them. So I kind of thought you were just slicing the person inside at the time.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely a connection there. And it's hard to. I think extremely few people who were never spoiled would be able to like figure out the exact way that happened, because I don't think it's not something you figure out exactly, like
No.
the way it actually happens. Of course, we'll get there. Moving on to the Uprising arc, and this is the arc that comes right after the end of season 2. So if you've only watched the anime, and if you don't want to get spoiled on any future stuff, move on to the Master Quiz now, the next segment.
Bye.
But if you don't care, by all means, continue listening. This is most likely, I think at least, the arc that's going to be covered in season 3.
Yeah.
Which is coming up in July, I think.
Season 3 is it July or June?
June, maybe. Yeah. So it's gonna pick up here. So yeah, by anyone who doesn't want to hear this. So the Uprising arc, we got a new Team Levi, so that's cool.
Yeah. I love Levi.
I think I'm a little bit fuzzy on some of the details during this arc. Like I remember like most of it, I think, but like there's some parts I may not remember as strongly.
Uprising was very complicated. There was a lot happening.
Yeah, and this arc is also a lot more about, well, it's more talk, less action in a way.
It's a lot of politics involved.
There's no titans being fought. There's people fighting people with ODM gear, which is awesome. Like that's a new kind of action we hadn't seen before. But there's no like titan fighting in this one, which I honestly didn't mind. I still thought this was a great arc. It was different, but it was definitely not bad. It was just different. Because even though there's no titan fighting, there's still action. And I didn't think the political or whatever you want to say, like all of the talk, like plans they made and whatnot, I didn't think it went out of hand. Like it was always, it made sense with the story.
A lot of people seem to not like it, but I think it's probably my favorite arc.
Oh,
at least
right.
the first half.
Yeah.
Just because less action, but I think I like the slower pace of it.
Yeah. I definitely see that.
In the moment, I wasn't that into it, but in hindsight, I think it was actually really cool. Like I thought it was just like I was like one of those people like, oh, okay, getting back to the Titan action.
I think Armin had some pretty good moments.
And I was like, I want to know what's beyond the wall. Let's get to.
Yeah, I feel almost every arc has kind of added a new kind of action in a way. Like the first arc with the training, that was just training.
That was a training, like introduce objections.
Yeah, and it's like the Trust District arc was like flying around in the city fighting titans. That's one of my favorite action types so far, I think. I thought that looked so awesome, especially and this is not, I guess, hasn't got a lot to do with the action, but more with the aesthetics. I love the architecture in Trust, and that really like it. I don't know. To me, it adds a lot to how those scenes worked out. And then of course the female Titan arc, that's fighting in the forest, and it's also Titan versus Titan action, which is a new thing. And then the Clash of the Titan arc, which is the arc where like that's season 2.
Let's see.
Well, actually, I don't know what that one adds, what new combat kind of that adds, but it's a good one anyway. And then we come to the Uprising arc where we got people fighting people, which is new to the series. And I think this is, to me, this was where Levi started really, I started really like enjoying his character. And a lot of the characters grew on me during this one. And some that I had been a really big fan of before I started liking less. Mikasa was a favorite of mine from the very first episode, and she remained a favorite of mine throughout the entire first season. And I guess it was during like season 2, and then also during the Uprising arc that she started like I lost some interest in her during these like 2 most recent arcs.
Because her character got defined by Eren like entirely, and she couldn't show off her being a badass as much.
Yeah.
So you lose like some of the best parts.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's true, and that's a shame. I don't know, because I think her character has potential to be really good. It's just these two arcs don't really give her
that's
that
what I said before.
chance.
Like, I think that she has potential. Like, she has like a super deep, dark backstory.
Exactly. Yeah.
But her entire character is just, I love Aaron.
Yeah. But with her character, it makes a lot of sense because as a child, she grew up like on the countryside. Probably weren't a lot of people around. I reckon. She had her mother and father, but besides them, there weren't really a lot of other people nearby. And so Aaron comes by with his father, every other week, and she gets to know Aaron, and like he's like her only friend in the whole world, basically, for like a year or so, and then her parents die, and she moves in with the Jaeger's family. I don't know. She doesn't have a lot to compare to somehow. I don't know.
I think the first time they met was Aaron and her, at least, was when her parents were killed.
Actually,
I don't think they had known each other before.
No, actually, they had known each other for at least a few months. If you read the Lost Girls spin-off.
Okay, I haven't.
Right. The second one of those, it's just 2 volumes. In the second one of the volumes, it's kind of a Mikasa story. The first is an Annie story. The second is a Mikasa story. But yeah, they had known each other for a little bit before her parents were killed. Okay. It's not that clear though in the main series. It's not made very clear. I also thought before I read Lost Girls, I also thought that they had just met then. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we got Kenny. Kenny is introduced in this arc, and he's an interesting one.
I had a really weird first impression of him, kind of when he walks into the bar.
I
can't remember what he yells, but he just seems really ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that whole like, because there's an early fight between Levi and Kenny, and it feels very like kind of like spaghetti western kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what it was.
Very much
I really enjoyed that, like that vibe it gave, and I hope they're able to catch that vibe in the anime adaptation too. That's coming up. So we'll see. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
I like when they dress Armin up.
Oh right. I had almost forgotten about that.
I think that really fucks him up.
Guys in his first.
Oh man. Yeah. Poor Armin.
Kind of gets molested.
Yeah. Man, like I shouldn't be laughing about this, but I am for some reason. Yeah. Armin is a pretty boy.
Oh yeah. I'm just kidding.
He's also a small child.
Obviously, we also get to know more about the Rice family, Historia. Well, I guess it was in the previous arc we learned that Krista's name is actually Historia, and that's further elaborated on in this arc.
Yeah, about her family.
I got nothing.
Yeah, well, it's like this is, as I said, this is probably the arc that I remember the least details about right now.
Yeah, I'm also right there with you because, like I still I struggle trying to remember the Reese family and all the names.
Understandable, but yeah, we had Rod Rice, Historia's father, and
yeah,
they were able to kidnap Aaron to take his Titan ability, and Krista just kind of, or at least she seems to at first, like during this scene when Aaron is tied up, she seems to turn evil almost for a while. Like she seems to turn to the same side as her father.
Wasn't there a lot of because it's like Aaron's dad killed her sister, or at least no, she didn't remember her sister, so she wouldn't have emotional problems about that.
Wait, what about her sister?
Her sister was that Titan. And
yeah.
Aaron's dad
They probably mentioned the founding Titan here, right?
That's when they
yeah.
Okay. But like I was saying something that's completely off. I remember because Historia doesn't have any memory of her sister.
Right. No, but I think this is the arc where they bring up the founding titan, like that, the concept of the founding titan, and they
Yeah.
say, and we learn that Eren is the founding titan,
Yeah.
and
His
Yeah, we
dad
learned
stole
that
it.
his dad stole it and then gave it to him.
right, yeah, we get that whole flashback. Yeah, man, that's a big one. That's a big reveal.
Hmm.
We learned that Eren is an orphan. Like we didn't know his dad was dead up until this point,
Because like, oh, where's he at?
but it turns out he killed his dad. He ate his dad.
Yeah, that's depressing.
I thought I had daddy issues. Okay, that was weird.
Don't we all? Or
Moving on.
yes, good call. But yeah, then I guess turns out Historia doesn't want to eat Eren, and then her father licks up the remains of the crushed serum or whatever.
It's like this, yeah,
And
like the
becomes
Titan
a-
serum.
Yeah, and
He becomes like the world's
King
biggest
Titan.
Titan for some reason.
Yeah, man, that's shit. But it's still a mindless Titan.
I am so excited to see that animated.
Yeah, man. I really, really, really hope that season 3 is gonna end with the defeat of the King Titan. I hope.
I think it will.
Like, if it ends before that, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Because that would be such a great finale for that.
I mean, it's the best stopping point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because if that's not the finale of season 3, I would assume it's probably like,
The finale of season 4.
I guess, Eren saving his friends by hardening his body in the place when it's collapsing. But that's
like
not
the same. That's the same.
Yeah. I definitely hope so. And also something I wouldn't mind them doing in the anime if they can is to kind of elaborate that final battle with the King Titan, because they kind of
It was very short.
Yeah, they
skipped
cut
to
it
the end of
out.
it in the manga. So if they could
It was very.
add more to it, kind of, fill in the
Yeah, who's
the
there
empty
second,
parts.
one up the next.
Yeah, that's a big moment, and they finally managed to kind of make Krista the monarch, sort of.
Queen of the Walls, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping when Eren's tied up in the cave that Levi would start kicking him again.
Oh, really?
Oh,
uh,
well, have you seen the poster for season 3 where it's just Levi's legs and you could see Eren tied up like behind him or whatever?
Levi's
It's not.
legs.
It's not Levi's.
I've
legs, it's Kenny's legs, with Levi standing between
Here, I'll
them.
try to find it really.
It's Kenny's legs, and then it's like Levi and Eren chained up, or Eren chained up, and Levi standing. Because he has the guns at his side.
Is it? Oh. I mean, I think I've seen it, but I didn't know whose legs they were.
Here, well, spoilers, they're Levi's.
I'm pretty sure they'll be Kenny's.
Oh.
What do you mean this is too big? I'm trying to get a picture of it.
I've also seen the poster with Levi and Kenny, not Connie, Levi and Kenny, like, kind of like just glaring angrily at each other.
Like face to face.
Yeah, I can't find it, or I can't get a link that.
It's all right.
It's not working.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the Uprising arc mostly. Too bad we couldn't remember every detail, but whatever. But yeah, like before we move on, actually, one thing I really enjoyed about this arc, besides all of the reveals that we're getting in it, I also really enjoyed the action of it, which I really cannot wait to see animated with like the ODM gear versus ODM gear, and like the military police using guns instead of swords. I think that will be a lot of fun
And
to
like
see.
that shot of them,
the anime.
like in the caves.
Yeah, like both in
That
the
whole
cave
scene, I
and
think,
also
will
in
be
the
cool.
city before that. But I think especially in the caves, definitely look forward to that. So yeah, and after the Uprising arc comes the Return to Shiganshina arc, which I think to me so far out of what we got in the manga is probably my favorite arc so far. The Return to Shiganshina.
It's very action heavy.
Very action heavy and very plot heavy. Like it's got some huge reveals.
We finally see what's in the basement.
Exactly.
Spoilers.
Finally. That's not spoilers anymore though, because we already went on to the Return to Shiganshina district arc. Finally, like after all this time, we finally get to see what's in the basement, and we learn about Marley. Like, had you guys had any like theories about what was beyond the walls before you learn about it? Do you have any ideas or anything, like any thoughts about it?
I kind of had no. I kind of figured that there might be other people, and they might have been like sending the Titans for some reason, but I didn't think it'd be like to the scale of what it is. Like the whole world is actually out there.
Right.
I would have never imagined that.
Yeah. I think few would. I was just like probably any citizen of the walls. Like I just thought there was no one out there for some reason. I don't know. Or I guess I should have thought there was some. Or
well, yeah, because you knew with Reiner and Braun,
right,
they were
yeah,
from outside.
I guess yeah. After that was brought up, I guess I started kind of thinking there may be some small settlements somewhere. But
yeah, that's kind of where I was coming from.
yeah, but like other than that, like, man, I was very blown away by the huge scale that was actually out there. And we learned that whole thing about Aaron's father's past, how his sister was killed, and man, it's really dark, honestly. Although, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised by dark plots.
Yeah, it's just been fucking rainbows and butterflies up till then.
Exactly. But man, and we learned that he got the Titan form from Aaron Kruger, which obviously has to be Eren Yeager's namesake. Oh, and also the whole thing with Keith. How Keith had...
I thought that was one of the best chapters.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Keith with hair.
When you see how he breaks the gear too.
Yeah.
Eren's gear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
wait, what do you mean?
When he breaks Eren's maneuver gear. Remember when they're training and he can't balance, and then it shows that he was actually the one who tampered with it.
Right. He did that on purpose, right? Yeah, that's that's interesting. Yeah, he suddenly became such much more of an important and much deeper character than we ever thought. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of characters in this series. Like a lot of characters, like when you see them the first time, they're just meh. It's a character. Maybe they look cool, but you know. But then, like, almost every single character has so much more to it than meets the eye, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about Attack on Titan. But that's also like it's a shame in a way that like so many of the characters may not seem that special at first, but then it turns out they're like super awesome. Like it's a shame in the sense that a lot of people may not find it interesting at first, which may to some extent be understandable. And then they don't give the series the chance it deserves, so they won't become fans of it because they weren't hooked by it initially. You know, I think could be the case with a lot of people. So that's a shame in a way, but I mean, whatever. I mean, it's a prospering franchise nonetheless, so it's got plenty of fans anyway. And the anime is definitely helping out. You know, it had been a long throughout all of the Uprising arc, we had kind of gotten a break from from Reiner and Bertold, you know, from those characters, and then we come back to that story, I guess, in the Return to Shiganshina arc, and that's something I enjoyed because ever since their big reveal in season 2 or in the Clash of the Titan arc, I've been very, very, very intrigued by Reiner in particular. Now, of course, there's a lot more we can talk about him later, but he's definitely been growing on me ever since season 2. I don't know about you guys.
I remember at that point I was just sort of like, I was more curious about there's clearly more beyond the walls,
Right. That's
Um,
true.
and I was like, I just wanted to know all about that. I don't think it was much as the character as it was the
Mm,
mystery for me.
true. True. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as Doc.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. To me, like, I don't know. There's something special about Reiner because at the time, obviously both Bertolt and Reiner share the same backstory, but with Reiner having had so much, I don't know. He's a much more of a central character than Bertolt,
Yeah,
and he's been he's been so close to Eren also, like throughout season one, and you know, he was one of to me he was one of the most trustworthy characters.
I feel like the anime elaborated on it more, but like he had like his whole sort of getting lost in his lie and
Split
feeling
personality.
feeling that split personality, feeling guilt.
Right.
I can't
Yeah.
remember how much the manga went into that.
Whoops. I think they went some into it anyway.
Yeah, it seems weird for it to not.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a big thing, and it's a very interesting thing. I think Bertolt kind of had that same like split personality thing too, not to the same extent. Or maybe he didn't. I don't know.
I feel like Bertolt was just like he felt bad, but he's like, we're on a mission, got to do what we got to do.
Right. Yeah, that's probably it.
Um,
Yeah. But I think
His whole speech
Bertolt
about
was.
being a warrior.
Yeah, I think Bertolt was also pretty. He was pretty good at kind of just, I guess, focusing on whatever they were doing at the time. So it didn't bother him as much as it bothered Reiner.
Hmm.
I don't know. Bertolt just seems a lot colder in a way than Reiner was, or than Reiner is. Um,
I feel like Bertolt was just too scared to think about the actual implications of like
Right.
their actions.
yeah, that's interesting.
Uh,
I think that's probably right. He was scared of that, so he kind of
So you
denied
never thought
denied
like,
it.
is this morally right or any of that? It was
Hmm.
just uh, what it was.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Man. Yeah, man. Like these characters in particular, and we'll get more into it later. Also, like the characters that come from somewhere outside of the walls. Well, actually, at this point, yeah, we're on the Return to Shiganshina arc. The characters from Marley. We can talk about that.
Oh yeah, they established Marley
to
at
some
this
extent.
point.
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure. I mean, they must have, right? With
I mean,
uh
at the end of that is when
Grisha's
he
father,
reads.
or Grisha Jaeger.
They have his backstory. They have all that at the end of the arc.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty sure Marley, like the word becomes a thing during that whole reveal. And it's also safe to assume that Reiner and Bertolt and Annie are from Marley at this point.
Yeah, because I think they explain the whole. Is it warriors? Are they warriors?
Yeah, I think so.
Like when they explain that, because that's when they sort of explain Grisha Jaeger's son.
Zeke.
Yeah, because Zeke betrayed them.
So do you like thing is I've never pronounced it. I heard you guys both pronounce it Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Cause I don't know. I've been kind of unsure on that one in particular, like how to pronounce it,
How
because
have you
I've
been
only ever
pronouncing
read
it?
it. I don't know, either Zeke or Zeke, but I don't know. Like I don't know. It's like these names are supposed to be kind of German, and I don't know
Yeah.
if Zeke would be the way to pronounce it in the German way, but whatever. I don't know. Oh, and this is also where we learn about that Grisha's former love
Oh
interest
yeah.
ate Grisha's later love interest. Am I like, oh shit. Uh, yeah. And that's also obviously we get the reason why Eren was able to control the Titans when he punched her hand.
Yeah. God, that was.
So,
I thought that was very ironic that
yeah.
his previous wife killed his.
Yeah, holy shit.
She holds a grudge.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. Man, and it's also like all these things, like it's really like everything is thought out from the beginning, and it makes it so great.
Yeah, it's set up, and you're like, oh, this makes sense. It doesn't feel forced.
Exactly. It's not like they like decided like at some point during the story, like, oh, we'll do it like this. Like, it's not like that, and you can tell like it's everything is very thoroughly like organized and planned out. So yeah, it's I really appreciate that about this show. And obviously the big action sequence at the end of this arc is phenomenal. Like, and maybe it's not even at the end of the arc. It's because I feel like we get all of the,
Because if we're including the like the Marley backstory,
exactly.
it's at the middle of the arc.
Yeah. But man, yeah, that action sequence is like, I kind of orgasmed all over that. Anyway, not safe for ZD maybe.
Nothing is.
Yeah, it's safe. We're safe.
I really enjoyed the beginning of the arc too, just kind of like the feast, the calm before the storm.
Oh yeah, and Sasha went crazy on the meat.
Yeah. Connie tells her he's gonna have to kill her.
Yeah. Man, that was like so over the top. It's like, yeah, I knew she was crazy about food, but that was like a whole new level. It was almost scary. Oh my god. I'm hoping that this arc will be like season 4, and that season 4 will end. And that season 4 will end with them reaching the ocean.
Or I don't know how they're gonna handle it, because I don't know how like the anime viewers will respond to like the main cast being away for so long.
Right after this arc, yeah. I hope they do it like they did in the manga. Personally, I understand though if maybe it's could be handled differently, but I hope they do it the way they did in the manga, because I thought that worked well. But yeah, like I would love for season 4 to end with them reaching the ocean.
I'd love for it to end when they reach the basement and they're about to open the books and then the credits roll.
No.
That's gonna irritate so many people.
And then we have to wait like 3 years for the next season.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I guess I would be okay with it, but I wouldn't be that okay with it. It's like, I guess
I mean, as someone who knows what happens, I'd be okay with it.
Exactly, yeah, that's my point. But
there's already that whole meme about people who've read the manga. It's like, just go read the manga if you want to know what happens.
Right. But like the major thing about the Return to Shiganshina arc that I want to see in the anime is like that whole battle in Shiganshina district. Like,
yeah, that's the moment I can't wait to see in the anime.
Yeah, that's gonna be so.
I love
good.
action scenes animated.
Yeah, and Attack on Titan, the Attack on Titan anime does a great job with their action sequences.
Amazing.
So yeah, and Eren and Armin kill Bertolt.
Yeah.
They finally kill the colossal Titan.
I felt really bad in that moment.
I didn't. I didn't feel any sympathy for Bertolt at the time. And they almost defeat Reiner and Zeke as well, but not quite.
Yeah.
But man, when they set up like Erwin and all of the other soldiers are charging toward the Beast Titan, and then like everybody dies. Man, that's
such a brutal scene. It's
so
like
brutal.
So many people.
You can see like the stones really tear off pieces of everybody's bodies. Man, that's gonna be so gory in the anime. And also like the badass stuff that comes out of that is Levi like leaping from Titan to Titan to get to the Beast Titan. That was pretty cool.
I really thought the Beast Titan would like put up a bit of a fight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, this is like the top dog for them. So it's like maybe he'll stand it. Nope.
Yeah, I also thought he would be more of a challenge to Levi, but man, Levi just completely disintegrated him. Well, until the
Cart Titan.
That weird Titan. That wasn't the Cart Titan though, was it? Was it?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the
was
Cart
it?
Titan rushed in and saved them all.
I didn't realize that. It's just the Card Titan without the gear.
Yeah,
Like-
she didn't have the. I don't think they had the mask for her yet, or like
Exactly.
the guns. She was literally just carrying a
Ah.
cart.
Wow. Oh man. Wow. Wow. I didn't put that together until just now. Wow. Huh. Yeah. Of course.
Erwin even
of
calls
course.
her out.
Huh. I just kind of thought that was like some Titan that Zeke somehow manipulated in some
Like
way.
summoned, yeah.
Like some.
Mhm.
But man, yeah, that makes sense though. All right. Yeah, of course we're not supposed to know about the Card Titan here yet, but whatever. It's just a name. It's not a spoiler if it's just a name.
It literally is a Titan with a cart on its back, so I think it's
Exactly. Yeah.
And Erwin, I'm pretty sure Erwin calls her out and says that's probably a intelligent one too.
Yeah.
I think when they're standing on the wall.
Yeah, he might have done that. Yeah, that's possible.
Pretty sure he does.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
he's
think
like-
so. I think
I thought he was like
because she's
dying by the
well,
point.
he's standing on top of the wall like before the battle, and he
Oh,
looks
does
over
he?
at the Beast Titan, and he sees her beside him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because they see her in the forest too when they're going towards the,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
and she's just sitting there, and they think it's just night, so she's inactive, but she's really a spy.
Right.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Right.
And
I
then
do
she
recall it
comes
now.
and she-
Now when you mention it, I remember. Wow.
And she talks to them. She tells them they're coming.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, like this is why I enjoy talking about, like, especially like stories that are as diverse and complex as Attack on Titan. I enjoy talking about it with people because it's so easy to miss things. And this way, you know, you can help each other realize some things and like understand a couple things. Definitely helps for me anyway.
Okay, I always go after I read a chapter. I go to the to Reddit because there's always 1,000 things that I missed that they somehow pick out.
Ah, maybe I should start doing that too. All right, yeah. And then of course is the big, I'd assume anyway, the big discussion topic of this arc. Did Levi choose the right person to revive
Yeah.
or to save? I don't know.
It's
It's like they both have their own pros, I guess. Like,
yeah.
I guess, you know, Armin has more potential to develop and like to turn into something greater. But Erwin, like, no one can be a leader like Erwin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Like,
He has the balls to do what needs to be done.
and his gambling tactics
Yeah.
are like unheard of.
It like risks people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck really.
he's kind of harsh, but man, he's good though. And the fact that Levi eventually ended up picking Armin, like,
I liked his reasons for it.
yeah,
For it was just like let the man die in peace.
yeah,
I feel like if Levi hadn't overheard them talking about the ocean, he probably would have picked Erwin.
probably. But it's like, yeah, it's so sad either way though, because both Armin and Erwin had very, very clear goals, very distinct dreams. You know, Erwin wanted to see what was in the basement, and Armin wanted to see the ocean, and both were so close, but only one could live. It was, oh man, because I remember I was reading the books, and I was reading like that whole part like in a night, like, or like I was gonna go to bed and I started reading one book, and like, okay, man, I gotta read the next. Oh shit, the battle and everything is still going on, and like it just kept happening things, and like, yeah, I could not stop reading.
I think the issue right before he chose was right when I caught up with it. It's like, come on, man.
Oh, I see. I caught up with it, like the first book of the Marley arc was the most recent
Okay.
book that so I had this entire Return to Shiganshina arc. I had it all, so I didn't have to wait for that. Luckily.
Yeah, I was like just before that. I
Right.
think. Like, I
Gotcha.
read a little bit into what was in the basement, but I didn't get very far.
That was, yeah. As I said earlier, it's definitely my favorite favorite arc
I think
so
the
far.
current one might be rivaling it a little bit for me.
Current one is definitely good. Let's move on to that actually.
That's
It's a 4-year time skip, and
we are not seeing familiar faces for quite a while.
yeah, I mean we've got Reiner there
Reiner and Zeke.
and Zeke, yeah, and we also get some flashbacks to when Reiner and Bertolt and Annie and what's his face,
Marcel.
Marcel, right, when they went to Paradise Island, and that was obviously, at least in my opinion, very interesting to see all of that, and it definitely helped you understand their point of view of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like. I think Attack on Titan's really good at making you be like, oh, these people are justified in their actions. Because now you're like, who's the.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, Reiner killed everyone, but also it's because his people like oppress and he's trying to like help
What is
them.
his entire childhood? He was told everyone on the island is basically a monster and they're not human.
Yeah.
But then when he actually lives with them, he starts to see it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this one scene at the dinner table. He's with his family, and he tells them how weird and how evil all of the people were, but they
He's
weren't.
having like memories
Like,
of
yeah.
like him just eating with them and laughing.
Yeah.
And, like that's so sad.
It's so Man.
Didn't he mention where like he's like, oh, this one girl like offered someone half a potato and only gave her like a third of it or something?
Right. That's one of the
That's
parts.
an
Is like,
example of like how greedy they are.
yeah. Man, but they're just humans, just like everybody else on the planet. It's like,
So who's the bad guys now?
It's
Exactly.
It's what you can't say. Because then when what was his name, the guy with the long hair, the guy who was like the guy whose family has the Warhammer Titan.
Tiber.
Tiber.
Yeah.
William Tiber.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is definitely gonna be the main villain of the series.
Oh, I didn't really think of that.
That was my impression. I'm like, he has like the long hair like a villain would.
Yeah.
He's like rich. I'm like, this has got to be the guy. But then as like time went on, you're like, okay, wait, no, he has his own motives as well.
Yeah.
He's a sympathetic character, and that.
Yeah, he definitely was. This show is so gray. It's like there's very few shows I watch that are as gray as this one.
That are able to like, approach it as well.
Oh, definitely. I think this one. I've never seen any like morally gray show that's as well executed as this one. Personally, I have never seen anything like this. And it really, especially during this current arc, the Marley arc that's going on right now, it's definitely becoming very apparent now. Like, I'd say my best answer right now as to like who the bad guys are would be just, I guess, the authorities somehow. Like, or maybe that's not even true either. I don't know.
I don't think there's any good guys really. Not at this point.
Yeah, especially since Eren just fucking killed like so many people. Like, Eren, no. Ugh.
Yeah, I was losing.
I was so mad at him when he did that.
Yeah, I was like, maybe you're not the best character, Eren.
It's, yeah. I look forward though to seeing more, I guess,
what Zeke's plan is.
And more about what the Survey Corps plan was going into this. I'd like to know, like, get more backstory to that.
Except looks they didn't go along with their original plan.
Yeah, seems like
looks
it, because
like Eren kinda...
in the most recent chapter, which is chapter 105 at this point, which we've all caught up on.
Yep.
Yep.
Some of us very recently.
I mean, I read it today as well, actually. Although a bit earlier today, and Doc read it like right before we started this recording.
Literally 10 minutes beforehand.
But that was good, you know. This way we can all discuss it. And yeah, in this most recent chapter, it's made apparent that Eren apparently didn't go along with whatever plan they had, and Levi was pretty mad about that.
He kicked him, thank God.
You just really into Levi kicking.
Maybe.
Oh, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, and this chapter also had Sasha die.
I'm really upset about that.
Yeah.
I figured that I'm forgetting her name.
Gabby?
Gabby.
I figured Gabby was gonna kill her.
Oh. Right.
After Sasha and her had that little moment.
Where she could have killed her.
I was like, oh, she's gonna come back later, because I thought I saw that as them sort of repeating the cycle.
Oh yeah.
Of like how Reiner and Bertolt murdered everyone in Shiganshina, and then Eren was filled with this deep rage, and he came back to them, and it was like they did the exact same thing. And I saw that moment as sort of them fueling Gabby to be super against them.
Right, yeah.
And I figured she's gonna kill Gabby and come back to that. Didn't they see it happening so quickly though?
Yeah. Yeah, that was fast, and I had not expected it. And now I can't ship Connie and Sasha anymore.
I ship Connie and Jean. I don't know about you guys.
Oh.
No, it's John and Mikasa.
No. Mikasa has no interest in Sean, I feel.
Yeah, but Eren's gonna die in like 4 years, so she'll be lonely.
Yeah, and that's so, like, man, like, this can't end well. Like, ultimately. The story can't be quite happy. Especially after everything that's happened in these past couple episodes, or chapters. Like, how is it gonna end? I have no clue. Do you guys...
I was saying I have no idea. Like, I don't see any way this can keep going forward. Like, how to end this.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, clue about, like, I guess sort of percentage-wise, how far we're into the story as a whole?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know how long, like, a typical manga lasts.
Oh, I don't know either, actually.
Like, it doesn't feel like we're anywhere near the end, though.
No, exactly. Yeah, like, after... or like it's like kind of during the Return to Shiganshina arc, kind of felt like we were kind of closing in on some kind of ending, but but now it's like nope.
See, I saw the Shiganshina as like the beginning, Return to Shiganshina. That's how I was getting the vibe.
Gotcha.
Every time I think it's winding down, it just gets bigger.
Definitely, yeah.
If you know what I mean.
What are these innuendos? Why in an Attack on Titan discussion? I don't mind though, personally.
I heard a theory that Eren's trying to reunite all the Titans into one.
That's something that because he has 2 of them already.
Well, he has 3 now.
Well, he has 3 now.
And because like Ymir, the original founder of the Titans or whatever, had all 9 powers of them, so I figured that was how it was gonna go. But
yeah, I feel like they're probably going somehow in that direction, but yeah, I remember when I first saw when I first read the scene where Eren takes the Jaw Titan and crushes the Warhammer crystal with the Jaw Titan. It's clear that the blood from the whatever her name was, the Warhammer, like it's clear that her blood like falls into Eren's mouth because he does it like above him and he's like keeping his mouth open underneath. But at the time, I was kind of like, did the Jaw Titan just inherit that power, or did Eren? Like, I was kind of unsure at first, but it was most likely Eren because I feel like he did that on purpose.
And also, no one cares about Porco.
Yeah. Well.
Hey, I do.
Just kidding. He killed Ymir, so I'm always against him.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't. I'm not that big a fan of the character either. I mean, he's not poorly written. I just don't care for him.
I don't like his attitude.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's about where we're at right now in the story.
Do you think they're gonna try to get a kid out of Zeke before he dies?
Like force him
I'm
to
serious.
have a kid with someone.
Oh, that's a little.
Well, because he has the royal blood, right?
Yeah,
I
but
think
hey,
he was going to use his royal blood,
well, Historia has royal blood too.
but they can't. Like the person who has the royal blood can't have the founding titan. Otherwise, they will. They'll like be filled with the original king's like philosophy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
why. Like they hinted at like how Eren might have to kill Historia to get her to unlock the entire strength of the coordinate.
Yeah.
But now they have his brother, his half brother now.
Doesn't he just have to touch one of them?
Is it
To do
touching
it.
or is the blood? That's why it's confusing because I
Well, in the Clash of the Titans, he just touches the.
exactly. So I don't know how.
Yeah, like if Eren just brought Historia with him on every like mission or whatever, like he could just like hold her hand and like say a bunch of things and like it would all work out, right?
That's cute.
They rule the world together, sort of. Oh, and actually at the end of that arc, or was it at the end of that arc, or maybe it was at the end of the Uprising arc, or somewhere around there. It was like at a farm, and Historia wanted to like. She started like an orphanage or something.
Yeah.
Isn't it the farm that she grew up on?
It was probably.
That would make sense.
And there was this funny part there, I thought anyway, that it's like Eren and Historia are kind of talking, and it's a nice scene. It's a nice conversation. And then Mikasa comes in and she looks super jealous. It's like she thinks there's something going on between Historia and Eren. I thought that was pretty funny. Like, come on, Mikasa. I love Mikasa, but man, she's a little too much sometimes.
So who do you guys ship the most?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I used to ship Sasha and Connie, but I can't anymore, sadly.
Oh, she's so warm, I guess, for a while.
No. Oh no.
I was gonna say I don't have a ship, but then I remembered Historia and Ymir, but R.I.P.
She's cold.
She's definitely cold by now. Eren and Mikasa is an obvious one, but Eren is gonna die eventually, very soon, kind of. And that's also like something I've been thinking about. Like, what if they can somehow figure out a way not to die? I don't know. I don't know.
That's like the curse of Ymir. I don't think they can get around it.
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty big curse.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. But on the topic of favorites, do you have like a favorite character or some favorite characters throughout the, like, I guess we've mentioned a few, but
Well, as I said, I love Ymir. I think I told you all before the recording how Gabby's quickly rising up the ranks.
right, yeah.
She's just so interesting. I'm really into it.
Absolutely, yeah, she's good.
I think other than that, those are mostly my favorites.
Yeah. How about you, Bok?
It's probably generic, but Levi. I like his character more than his badassness, though.
Right.
I think I've kind of
Like the
discussed that
subtle
already.
depth to his character, it's not.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You like his
I
his legs?
Sasha, but yes, I do. How did you know?
He got those kicks. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He still hasn't aged a day. Like, Sasha comes back looking like the girl next door, and Levi's just same as
Isn't
always.
there
Yeah.
like something about how Levi and Mikasa, like they're from like the same family or something?
They're Ackerman, both.
Yeah.
They're both Ackermans, and it's like they were genetically designed to kill Titans or something like that.
What?
No, they were like the king. They were like the King's Guard.
Is that right?
They were like
They're just very
it was like
OP
Titan
kind of people.
engineering.
Because I could have sworn
Yeah, but there's a
they explained it at
yeah
some
they did.
point when
It
they were
was like
talking about
they were
the powers of the, or like what the strengths of the Eldians are, or the Paradisians.
Yeah.
There was some.
but yeah they said it was like Titan science or like splicing genes or something,
Yeah.
and they were like the original Kingsguard, but then they like abandoned them.
Yeah.
I think.
Something
I
like
think
that.
there's
Yeah.
something like that.
But they weren't like made. Like they weren't.
No,
created.
these two weren't. It's just
No.
like their family was. Like there was something about their bloodline.
Oh, it was. Like the bloodline of
I think-
Ackerman
Yes.
was like at some point earlier. Like it was kind of made that way.
I
What?
think
I might have
I
missed
could be
that.
completely off.
Well, I mean, it's
I think
possible.
they made two comments like once.
Right. It's
Well, I think
definitely
Zeke
possible.
says something about it was like some kind of Titan gene engineering or something that they messed with them and made them OP.
Oh. I mean, that would explain things.
Well, they're both OP.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
I
there's
mean,
definitely a reason why.
Kenny as well is quite OP.
Mm-hmm.
He's an Ackerman too.
But they killed Kenny.
Yep.
You-
And I wonder how and when, and I guess if Levi is gonna die. That's gonna kill a lot of hearts.
I feel like that'll be like Aaron's final motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of my favorite characters throughout the story so far. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Mikasa started out as my favorite character, like in the early parts throughout all of season 1 and season 2 probably, but Levi definitely grew on me, especially after I read No Regrets, and also especially during the Uprising arc, like what's most likely going to be season 3 coming up now. He definitely grew on me there. And I also mentioned Reiner has definitely like become a major favorite character of mine, just because of like how conflicted he is and everything like that's going on.
I think he's super interesting, and I don't know where they're going to go from there.
Yeah. And also, like, the last time he appeared he appeared as a Titan to try to fight Eren in the most recent thing, but he didn't become armored. He just became a
No,
like
he uses
that was
the same
kind of weird.
tech, and he's like, "Oh, you don't need that new stuff." He's old school.
Yeah. Like that was a bit odd. I mean, I guess he was unmotivated somehow, like because he completely broke down when he met Eren there, like for the first time in 4 years. Like he totally broke down from that in that room. And Falco, I think out of the new characters in Marley, I think Falco is probably my favorite. I've enjoyed his parts a lot so far. And yeah, now I can't wait to see what's gonna happen now with Gabby and Falco and Zeke and like all of that, like on the airship.
I'm very
Look forward
excited
to that.
for the next chapter.
Definitely.
Gotta wait a month.
Oh yeah. 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 Oh man. So yeah, and do you have like favorite Titans out of the nine Titans, or other Titans? But I guess you wouldn't have another Titan
Like
as your favorite.
I really like that one bearded one that ate Eren the first time. Santa Titan, that was my favorite.
Oh yeah, like, yeah, Santa Titan.
I need time to think. You can go first, Bot.
Oh, favorite Titans? I don't even know. So many of them are like I like the female and the attack one, but they're almost like so similar. Do you think if a guy ate the female Titan, would he'd still be female?
Yeah,
right?
that's also
Like
one
the
weird
Titan
thing
form.
I've thought about, because the female Titan is the only one that's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
She was
weird.
made before they knew about any other like how Titans work. But like everyone else is their ability,
Yeah.
and hers is just female.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, she has abilities, but she's still just referred to as the female Titan. Yeah.
I think I like the skinless look as well, like of the colossal and the female one.
Right.
I was kind of disappointed in Armin's Titan form. It was just like I don't know, it was nothing interesting about it. It looked just like the Armored Titan, kind of. Not the Armored
Well,
Titan.
it kind of had Armin's eyes.
The Warhammer Titan. That's what I thought it looked.
Oh,
It had like the same exact structure. I felt like
well, the Warhammer Titan had a cool look.
Warhammer Titan was cool. Gone. So
Yeah. I wonder, like, is Aaron gonna be able to like make a little like cable with a crystal or whatever? Now,
I imagine.
kind of.
I wonder if he'll look different now too.
Transforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. I think my favorite Titan, I think, is probably the Armored Titan.
Really, I think my
Yeah.
favorite. I'm gonna have to go with either the cart or the Jaw Titan.
All right.
I like the Jaw Titan's aesthetic.
Yeah, although Ymir's Jaw Titan didn't look so good.
I think
I
hers
didn't
is.
think
I
anyway.
think people call hers the Dancing Titan, just to like separate
Yeah.
them.
Oh,
Yeah, because she's her
I
whole
see.
thing was that she was fast, less about the biting part.
Right. Yeah, I guess her jaws weren't as prominent. But I think Marcel was also meant to be a fast one, because the idea was for Annie and Marcel to kind of take turns in, escorting them
Oh,
to the walls.
yeah.
Right? But then Annie had to do all of it, so she was like way exhausted when they reached the walls.
Oh, that's right.
Understandably so.
Yeah, she had to carry them all.
Had to run the whole distance. And I guess one last like favorite thing, if you have like a favorite moment, we may have already discussed it, but if there's something in particular like throughout the story so far, favorite moment or favorite, I guess, general part of the story.
For me, I think we already discussed it. It was the reveal of Reiner and Bertolt in the anime specifically.
yeah.
I wasn't in the manga. It just happened, but
I mean, it was similar
it
kind
was
of in
similar.
both,
But they didn't
it was
have the music. You didn't have the pacing.
right. Yeah, it definitely felt better in
It
the
felt
anime.
more intense, and you're just like, and you could like feel the disbelief. And I still sometimes rewatch that because it's just like
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, yeah, it's
I have that
very
song
well made.
downloaded on my phone because I'm that into it.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
You see Big Girl?
Ah, yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
I listen to it when I run it. It's so epic.
Man, I need to go back and like, cause I didn't pay that much attention to the music in that scene before. I'm gonna have to go take an extra look at that.
It's another thing. The soundtrack in the show is also like
Yeah.
really top notch.
Definitely, I've mostly listened to the soundtrack of season 1. I haven't listened too much to the music in season 2 yet, but definitely good music. Some beautiful piano tracks and some pretty intense other pieces. Very, very good.
What are we talking about? Favorite moment?
Favorite moment, kind of, yeah.
I think besides the part where Aaron's tied up and Levi's kicking him, I think it'd be like the end of the Clash of the Titans arc in the manga. I think that was just way better paced than in the show. And I think the Keith chapter, the one we talked about,
Yeah.
I think it was one of the slower ones, but I think like story-wise, it was probably my favorite.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me.
You know what I mean, guys?
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no. I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, go on.
Bok. For me, probably. I mean, it's a tough question because there's a lot of awesome moments in this show, but what I remember being the most captivated by while reading was the battle in Shiganshina.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I guess what followed right after the whole reveal in the basement. I guess that whole part there.
Remember when Levi kicks down the door to the basement? That was good.
Ooh, yeah.
Just kidding.
He kicks so
Levi
hard.
kicks more often than I realized.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of it that much either, but yeah, he likes that.
I have.
He likes that action. And he's also a good cleaner. That's something I think is really funny. Like there's two hilarious things about Levi in my opinion. First being that he's such a picky cleaner. and the second being that he makes poop jokes all the time, and that's I find that so funny. Yeah, poop jokes.
High tier comedy right there.
Anyway. Yeah, but it's like the fact that he of all characters makes those jokes. It's like it's so perfect to me. So yeah, I guess that's most of what we had to say. Man, we've gone on for a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably cut out some pieces, but we've gone on for a while with this discussion. To kind of end this, how would you guys rate the series so far, like on a scale from 1 to 10? What score would you give it?
I think the manga, I think I actually have it on an 8 out of 10 right now. I think it could move up to a 9, but I think really solid, but 8's pretty much the highest I ever give anything anyways. I'm super fucking picky, so...
Well, I think it's good to be picky. 8 is a very fair score.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Doc?
See, yeah, I won't give it 10 out of 10 because like it's not perfection, obviously. So I think I'll give it like an 8 or a 9. I think.
Yeah, it's like I never give 10s, or at least I don't think
I
I've
don't
ever
think 10
given
is
a 10 to
possible to
anything.
reach.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 100% perfect. Like nothing. Like not even the smallest thing that you dislike. Like I think that's pretty much impossible, especially for something that's been going on for as long as this has. For me, from me though, it deserves a solid 9 out of 10 from me. Big fan, and I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen next.
Me neither.
And like the thing about Attack on Titan 2, at least for me, is that it's really like just kept on kind of improving throughout the whole story. It started off good, but it's just been getting better, kind of.
It reveals, and like there's a lot of mystery, and I think it reveals a little bit at a time, at a good pace. So it's not like you feel overwhelmed about learning too much, but there's always still a little bit more you're not sure about.
Right, yeah, there's constantly like questions you have, like something you want to know, something you're theorizing about or something. Yeah, and it definitely keeps the reader on their toes, wanting to know more constantly. So that's definitely a very smart and good writing technique from Hajime Isayama. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we round off the segment?
I'm meeting Matt Mercer in a week. I might ask him to kick me. That's the voice of Levi.
Yeah. Does he have as good legs as Levi does?
Well, we'll find out.
Oh yeah. Splendid. So yeah, thanks to you both for being with me on this segment today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's been a blast.
You're welcome.
And maybe you'll be on the podcast again in the future someday.
I hope so.
I hope so. So with that said, I will pass the show over to Chase with a master quiz.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Master Quiz, where last time, Tristan once more, did he once more triumph? No, last time was your first time triumphing this round, so he triumphed, although I guess he triumphed in the past, so I can say whatever I want, it doesn't matter, nobody cares anyway. Tristan, say hi.
Hey, how's it going? What up?
And opposing him, first time on the Master Quiz, we have Minish Link.
Hello.
Minish, have you listened to the podcast before, right? You know what's up with the Master Quiz and everything?
Yep.
Alright, cool. I'm going to say the rules anyway because it makes sense, I guess. So, I'm going to ask them 5 questions. They're going to answer it round 1 Family Feud style, where they're just going to make a random noise, and then whoever's noise is heard first gets to guess. If they guess wrong, the other person can try to steal the point. Whoever gets the majority points by the end wins. If neither of them are able to get a question, then I get the point. I don't want to win again, so hopefully we won't have to deal with that. If they end up tying at the end, then there's a tiebreaker question that is complete BS, but hey, it's fun, so whatever. What are your guys' noises going to be today?
I'm just gonna snap my fingers like that.
Okay, I can hear that.
If you could. Okay.
Okay,
Minish?
hopefully you can hear this.
Were we, what, shaking a box of pencils?
Like a little box with something in it. I don't know.
I'm actually surprised I was that close. Alright, so, for those of you who are unaware, which is everyone except the three of us pretty much, the theme this time is like mid-2000s Disney Channel shows. See what's the list of suggestions that was given. Lizzie McGuire, Hannah Montana, Even Stevens, Phil of the Future, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Kim Possible. I in no way used two of those shows. Those two being Lizzie McGuire and Phil of the Future. So I'm sorry, all of you Phil of the Future fans. I know we're out there. Actually, I guess I have a couple of them in this call.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to stop making fun of people. It's probably not good for a viewer count.
Nah, it's fine.
What viewer count?
Fair enough. Alright, so, for question number 1. In the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, what is the name of Esteban's pet chicken? Okay, Tristan.
Dudley.
Yes, it is Dudley. Congratulations. That's 1 point for Tristan.
Wow, I don't know how you remembered that.
I don't know how I remember that either.
It's pretty sad.
I remembered that he had a pet chicken, but I couldn't remember the pet chicken's name. So I had to Google it. I actually had to Google most of these.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I haven't watched most of these shows in, 10 years. Question number 2. In Kim Possible, what is the name of the superhero team made up of Shigo's siblings? Okay, Minish.
I think it's Team Go.
That is correct. That's 1 point for Minish. And now, so we're 1 point Tristan, 1 point Minish, still no points to me. This is going great. Question number 3. How many episodes of Hannah Montana does Miley/Chloe not make an appearance as Hannah Montana? As in, Miley Cyrus is in the show, but at no time did she put on the Hannah Montana costume. Tristan.
I want to say 2 episodes.
Alright, it's not exactly it. So, Minish, you want to take a guess and see if you're at least closer? I'll give it to whoever's closest.
Never mind.
I'll go with 4.
Tristan was closer. It was just 1.
Oh.
A single episode.
Really?
Yes.
What about the last few, after she takes the wig off?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole season where she's not Hannah.
Is there? I mean, I
pretty
didn't
sure.
actually watch much of the show myself. Watched like 2 episodes ever.
I think like the last 3 episodes of the show, right, she takes after she takes the wig off. I don't know.
Yeah, after the movie or whatever.
I didn't watch that either. I just kind of.
I didn't watch the movie either, but...
It's probably for the best, let's be honest.
Minish should probably get that point though.
She looks like Sharpay in
closer.
this picture. What the heck? So.
Give her the point.
Yeah, sure. I'll give her the. If you want to
It's
give her the
whatever,
points, I'm
but-
not gonna fight it. Everyone seems happy about this. Can't believe that show ran until 2011. That seems really recent.
7 years ago.
I know, but it still seems really recent. Like, I was in high school in 2011.
I graduated in 2011.
No, it's just weird to think about. Anyways, moving on. So that's 2 points Minish, 1 point Tristan. Question 3. In Wizards of Waverly Place, only one of the children may keep their powers at the end of the series. This is stated throughout the series. However, that should be pretty obvious from just knowing the show, seeing a single episode. So I'm not going to ask which one got it. Instead, I'm going to ask which one inherited the sub-shop. That was a Tristan.
Max did.
Yes, Max got the sub-shop. It's probably...
Because, spoiler alert, Justin became the headmaster of WizTech.
Yep. And then surprising nobody, Alex won the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 and 2. Everyone's tied.
Ooh.
And now we're going to go for this super easy question that I don't know why I put it last.
Oh,
And I'm going
boy.
to make one of you guys feel bad if you don't know it. Episode 5. What was the name of the crossover episode between That's So Raven, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana? Come on, guys. This is the only one I didn't have to Google.
Oh man, I know like how it kind of goes, but I can't remember the exact wording.
I remember the crossover. I just can't remember which show came first. Damn it.
Anyone want to take a guess?
Is it the That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana?
It's close enough. You forgot a single V, but nobody cares about that. Congratulations. Minish, you've won the Master Quiz.
I should have known that. Oh well.
Now, the sad part is, I listed them in the order that they happened.
Oh.
I thought it was, but I was really unsure of myself, so I wanted to make sure.
But that's fair. It's been a long time since this came out. Although what I found out it's even better is a couple of years later, there was a crossover called The Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana. So there was another
Yeah, that's the one
crossover.
I was thinking of at first.
I remember that one.
I didn't know that one existed until literally today. I have to go
Yeah,
watch
that's
that
the-
now.
Turns blue.
That's the one I'm most familiar with.
Now, I remember, like, on That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana was the pinnacle of my childhood. Even though I only actually watched one of those shows.
Yeah, I didn't watch That So Raven, so
Yeah, neither did
I wasn't.
Yeah, sure. The tiebreaker question was to pitch a gritty live-action reboot, even though it was already a live-action of Even Stevens.
Can you repeat that?
Pitch
Totally missed
a
it.
gritty reboot of Even Stevens. And then just entertain me with it. I feel like I could have chosen a better show on that list. I'm changing it to Phil of the Future.
No, I feel like Even Stevens is perfect because of the whole Shia LaBeouf ordeal lately. How he's gone basically crazy.
Okay, you know what? You got a point. You're onto something. Keep going.
Well, it would start with him going to college, and he would, I guess, go into film majoring, and then he just like spirals out of control and makes all of these really weird like horror films, and like no one understands them at all. And then I guess they find out that he's actually been killing people and filming it, and those are his horror films.
Seems legit. I'd watch it.
You know what? I would totally believe that. What about you, Tristan? Do you have a better idea for a gritty reboot of Even Stevens?
I don't know. I imagine like steampunk Even Stevens.
I'm not sure
I don't
steampunk is
know.
very gritty.
That's true.
I mean, it's definitely different, I'll give you that.
What if Louis Stevens picked up the same habits that Shia LaBeouf did? That'd be pretty gritty.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm giving this one to Minish. Congratulations, Minish.
She won anyway, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't matter. It would just be a complete waste of a BS question to not have it come up.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I guess that's it. Anything you guys want to say before we head out?
I
Goodbye.
think I'm good. Oh, yeah, bye.
Alright.
Time to go back into hiatus.
You were never on hiatus in the first place.
True.
Let's be honest, man. Alright, well,
Oh,
we'll
well.
see you next week in... I don't know. We're not even going to have an episode next week. Why am I saying that? You know what? Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.